Hey. Hello, everybody. Woo! Welcome in. I don't have water. That's a mistake. How we all doing? Welcome on in, everyone. Good to see you. Karazest, Mothman Centaur, Cubus Dev, Queen Anne, Finn They Them, and all of you in the shadows. Welcome in. It is such a pleasure to be here today. Oh man, how was everybody's weekends? What have we all been up to? What's been going on? For my part, I spent the weekend basically responding to YouTube comments. And then I took Sunday off. And look at how many more I have left to go. Look at this. What do I do with all this? Do you know how many of these comments are literally just Mojang be like, or Minecraft, or Mojang lore? Sheesh. Ugh, Minecraft. Everyone's calling out Minecraft. My goodness, Minecraft be like. Point of view Mojang trying to fix Minecraft. Jeez. On that day, Minecraft was born. Mojang. Couple of people saying Ultra Kill. Which I haven't actually played, but I need to. I do need to. Okay. It's a good thread. Any undiscovered indie games? It's a good one. Okay. Whew. You need an assistant. For real. Make it so. Heard Ultra Kill is good. Yeah, I've heard it too, and it's on itch. You can play it there, which is rad. Yeah, make it so. It's been, I'm not gonna lie, it's been eye-opening over the weekend. Like, okay, if this keeps growing, and I want to be able to respond to everyone, how do I do that? How do I maintain personal connections with people when we scale? And, haven't figured that out yet, but I want to. Finn! Okay, Finn. You, I need to turn that command off actually, because we're not doing that anymore. Finn, I was in Foolbox's stream earlier today, and you said you launched your first commercial game today, which, by the way, incredible congratulations. Second off, Foolbox was dying to know what your game was, and never got a link. Can you send me the link so I can send it to Foolbox? Because he was very upset that he didn't get to know what you launched. Change the message for the jam. Yeah, I just disabled it. Finn, you're fine. He felt like he's missing out. So he asked if I knew, and I was like, oh, let me check my spreadsheet. And you weren't in my spreadsheet either. So please enlighten us. Okay, Kimmy. Okay, thank you. Here we go. Kimmy. Oh, this is cute. Hold on. Let's bring this over. Welcome to Kimmy. If you need help, contact... Oh, that's actually... Okay, first off, I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing this, but especially with your cutesy aesthetic, like, it's kind of charming to have, like, reach out to me if you need any help. Like, you don't see that very often because it's not very enticing, but also has a lot of charm to it. And I think this is already exuding charm. That smiley face is a lot of charm. So, I actually kind of like it. If you play the game, please fill out this form to make the game better. Nice. Your new friend has arrived at your front door, ready to keep you company. Kimmy is a desktop pet game with a cute little pet called Kimmy. He can sit on your desk and keep you company while you work, play, or eat. Only those 3 things? With many cool animations that you need to find. Kimmy is meant to sit on your desk while you work and will not scratch your virtual pet itch. Cute. I like that call out there. This is not a Tamagotchi. This is not Neopets 3.0. Keep you company wherever you are, including A&E. Don't ask how I know. Give you something to put on your play date while you work. This is not a boring clock. Show you cool idle animations. Become hungry, which is why this game includes a food bomb button. And even wear clothing, which you'll get more of every week. So it's kind of like an incremental game, too. You can care for him, feed him, style him. With more things like games coming out soon with weekly updates ranging from new clothing piece to Kimmy in space and all for $2. Very cute, very cute. Very, very cute. That's awesome. Oh, Fortunes, that's a good call. Binwill, thank you for the another gift sub coming in hot. Thank you so much. Yes, Foolbox. Hey, okay. I let Finn know that you were asking about it. So, okay, here we are. Good, you're here. Great. Oh, add another hat. Okay. Woo. Yeah, Fortunes, that's a good call with the image. It's a good call. Where's the front? Go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's very cute. Very cute, Finn. Thank you so much for sharing. How long did it take you to progress to this point? Okay. Just gonna get a couple more hats queued up here. I get the feeling that we're gonna be diving in pretty quick. Okay. There we go. Humans also can't copy and paste it, which might reduce the amount of people who use it. It's true. I mean, I wonder if you could do like a spoiler tag or something. Finn, you said pardon. I'm not totally sure what that's about. That menu looks like the one from Squid Go. Oh, Squid God. Squid God or Squid Go? I don't know which one. Very cute. I kind of like the hand-drawn style. Like, it's super unprofessional, but once again, very cute. And I think that fits, you know? I think leaning into that lack of fidelity with the cute little chunkster here, like, I think that's an aesthetic that can work. I think that's very cute. Yeah, Foolbox, good, right on. You go ahead and drill through. I know you got a lot to do. Alistios, hello! Oh, well, thank you so much for dropping in and saying hi. It's so good to see you. Kehadao on YouTubes, hello! Hello, how we doing? That is super cute. Thank you so much, Finn, for sharing that. I'm going to throw this into the chat so the fine folks on YouTube can see it too. It sounds like you're planning on expanding this out quite a bit. Do you have like a roadmap or something that we can check out? This is rad. Very cool. Your new friend. Game progress is on track, surprisingly. Hilarious. That's amazing, Finn. Thank you so much for sharing that. I always wanted to experiment more with pet games and stuff. Looks awesome. Yeah, very cool. I was a big Neopets fiend back in the day. It was unhealthy. I would come home from school and I would be on Neopets all day. Because if you don't, then they starve. I'll have to watch Follow 2 just to see how they ruined it. I've actually heard pretty good things, Anti-Vi. Weirdly enough. I've heard pretty decent things about it, so I have to check it out. You're going to start a new project today, or are you still going over submissions? So let's talk about the Game Jam. I've been talking with Riverwolf Games over the weekend. We're going to schedule a call after the stream today between me and Riverwolf Games to figure out when are we going to do the announcement stream and how do we want that all to go down. It's going to be happening this week. I can promise that. It will be happening this week. And I will let you know multiple days beforehand. We'll put a message in Discord. We'll be talking about it on the stream. Everyone will know when it is happening. That being said, judgment has happened. I'm sorry to keep everyone in suspense. We know who the winners are. It's going to... By the way, everyone was so great. I loved every submission. And I have been learning a ton. Thank you to all of you who have been jumping on calls with me and sending over thoughts and responses on how your experience was with the jam. I've got a lot of things to improve on for our next jam, which I'm very excited to start talking about once we do our announcements. So we're going to be doing the award ceremony. That's probably what it would be called. We'll be doing the award ceremony sometime this week, and we just need to figure out the right time for it. So that being said, that's where the jam is sitting right now, and I can't wait. I can't wait to reward some incredible submissions, some amazing creativity. Really, truly phenomenal. I was talking to someone else who lives nearby me. We got in touch with recently, and just bragging about all of you to them, about how amazing this community is. And I was especially talking about sound circles with them because this person is a lutherie. And if you're unfamiliar with what a lutherie is, buckle in. You're about to have like a life-changing experience. A lutherie makes acoustic guitars because it comes from the word lute. And that made me tremendously happy. They're bard artificers, and it's incredible. So I was talking about sound and how that was getting incorporated and stuff. And yeah, absolutely wild stuff. Hey, Fuzzy Buzzy, good to see when you use your children to brag. It was for sure one of those, like, here's my wallet full of pictures. Look at it. Look at it. Question about the critique redeem. If I don't want to release the game officially online in the state, what's the best way to get the game to you? Queen Anne, so you can do either a draft page on itch.io, or you can just send it to me in Discord. People have sent me Dropbox links. People have sent me sorts of things. Like, the point value is set high enough on that like a bot isn't going to be able to take advantage of it, right? So if someone really wants to infect me with malware, they're going to have to stick around for at least, a little while. So, I feel pretty okay downloading stuff that people send me through that. So, okay. Where do babies come from? From storks. From Twitch chat? I've heard that as a rumor, but I don't buy it. Cool. Right on. All right. That's, by the way, this is a new trailer for Barricade. Did you watch the trailer for Barricade? We've talked about Barricade a lot on the channel. Made by Sockhouse Studios. He does really cool work. This is all built in Godot, by the way. So, really excited for him to keep pushing through and getting closer and closer to a release. This is for his beta, so he's getting really close. Keep an eye out for that redeem to be redeemed soon. Absolutely, Queen Anne. Looking forward to it. Reminds me of Half-Life. Yes, Anti-Vi. Absolutely. There's even like a, I don't think he shows it in the trailer, but there's a little like health box on the wall you can go and pay money into in order to heal up, and it feels exactly like Half-Life. So yeah, this is a boomer shooter where you build a barricade and defend a vending machine from zombies, like you do, just like an average Tuesday, but like with a fun soundtrack. So, Off-Grid Game Dev, good to see ya. How are you? Saw Thornity play that game. Yes, Thornity's a pro at Barricade. I have failed many times to beat a level on this, and then I went into Sockhouse Studios stream, and I realized what my problem was. That before, I was doing barricades kind of like this, right? Where you're building, just putting stuff up against the door and expecting that to work out well. Because it's barricading, right? Like, you throw your barricade up. And then I saw him do something like this, where there's like an alcove for the zombies to come into, and you just blast them. And I thought, that's brilliant. It's totally against the mental model I have with the game called Barricade, but I see how that's very clever. So it's very cool. Antivi, almost done with the table. Oh, very cool. Modeling or implementing? For everyone who doesn't know, Antivi, I don't know, has started their journey into Godot and has built a robo vacuum in Godot and used all sorts of cool different cutout sprite 2D shapes in order to simulate a 3D object using purely 2D stuff. It's really cool. The pixel art, very rad. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what else that turns into. Okay. Where are we at here? What tab are we looking at? Right. Jam. Okay. So any other questions on the jam, feel free to reach out to me, ask about it. Like I said, we are going to be getting on a call soon to talk about things. If you participated in the jam or wanted to participate in the jam, even if you didn't submit anything, I would appreciate it if you would reach out to me, either send me a written up kind of what was your experience going through the jam, or we can jump on a quick 15-minute call and I can ask you some questions directly. It's being incredibly helpful for me. The feedback that I'm getting is like, oh, yes, of course, obvious. Like, I totally should have thought about that, right? It's really helpful for me to know where are things hitting well, where are things not hitting well, and then how do we improve and go from there. So, next jam should have some peanut butter. I think Pirate Software might sue me if I did that. Although he did retweet me. By the way, for all of you who are new here, Senpai noticed me a long time ago. I got a random notification from my Game Jam team when we were working on the Pirate Software Jam. And where are all of my notifications? Are you not going to show me the rest of them? They said, hey, something crazy has happened. I said, I don't understand. What is it? And lo and behold, they linked me to Pirate Software's Twitter, which I had never been on before. Man, this guy tweets a lot. Jeez. Okay, it's going to be somewhere over here during the Game Jam. And come on. Where are we? Where are we? Come on. There's a specific tweet I'm looking for. Ah, there it is. Ha! Look at that. Look, we made it big forever ago. And then I messaged him and I said, hey, oh, you can't see this because my face is in the way. I said, hey, this is what we're doing over here. Thanks for the talking about our video. I got a dude you rock. Yes, I do. We rock. We all rock. Because nothing I do here is me. It's all you. So Senpai has noticed all of you. And he said, you all rock. This is where you print it out and frame it. Oh, shoot. I also did a text-to-speech on his thing. And he thought I was memeing him for a first little while. Until eventually he just said, what you're doing is rad, keep doing it. And I said, okay, I'll keep doing it. And all of you have come along for the ride. And it's been amazing. It's been absolutely incredible. So that's our jam. We are going to be announcing the new jam once the after the award ceremony. We're going to give it a little bit of time for everyone to just kind of enjoy it and rest. And then we have our sponsor lined up for the next jam. Hey, Vevin, good to see ya. You need to go to your Twitter more. There's so many devs on Twitter. I know. I just hate Twitter. I'm not gonna lie. I do though. If I were a good businessman, I'd be doing more on it. Yeah. So we're gonna do the announcement stream. We'll give it a week, and then we will announce the next jam coming up in July. So do I, but it's perfect for you. I'm curious why you feel it's perfect for me, Off-Grid. Yeah, just so many comments. Twitter sucks. Twitter's terrible. Can Critique Your Game be a downloadable file from itch, or does it have to be playable in browser? Playable in browser is preferred, but we can definitely do a download. Like, it's set at a point value that's high enough that you kind of have to invest some time into being here. That's by design, right? We may actually end up upping the point value as the channel continues to grow. But for now, like, I don't think anyone's going to try and send me malware. If you have been in the channel long enough to get 1,000 points, you're probably not sending me malware. Like, I think we're good. I have to take 3-month breaks every time I go on there. Tomorrow on YouTube. Going on Twitter. Yeah, I hear you. 1,000 isn't that much. It's not that much, but it's like you have to at least have been here for a few days, right? Like, you can't get that in a 2-hour stream. So, I'm not crazy concerned about it. Although, Anti-Vi, I know you have a pretty sizable Twitch presence. So I do, I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm taking note of it. Maybe 3 hours. Yeah, like, I feel like maybe, like, so you have to watch for a week, right? That might be a right thing to do. But I also like having it low because while people are coming in here, it's pretty relaxed while we're at this size, right? If we were at like 40, 50 plus average viewers, I'd probably be more concerned. Right now, I'm just a lot more interested in getting people in and giving people feedback, and which is what we're always going to try and do. But there are issues that come with scale as we keep moving forward. So we'll have to figure that out. Nekdos, critique your game. All right. My Twitch presence is from years ago when I streamed Minecraft every day and had 50 average viewers. Now I just do it whenever I want and what I want. There you go. There you go. Bye. But the thing is, though, like, you were doing it every day and you have, 4,000 followers? You've been at this. You've been a little more successful than I have. Like, I hear you. And I think that's worth it. Okay, Nekdos. We're going to check out Nekdos Clicker Remake. Okay, Nekdos. Before we dive in, the elements of any great critique. First off, what stage is the project? Second off, what are you trying to accomplish with Nekdos Clicker Remake? And stage 3, what are you hoping to get feedback on? I need those 3 pieces of information, and I need to add that to the redeem message. I need to say, please send me these things. That community is long gone, though. I hear you. I actually started streaming on foxhollowgames back when it was called StreamQuest. That's where WifeQuest's name came from. And I was streaming 4 years ago, and we got to like 85 followers or something. I only ever had a couple of people following. But when I picked this back up, we were still at 85 followers. And as we've grown and grown and grown and grown, thanks to all of you, as more and more people are coming in and helping and supporting each other, I have noticed I don't think a single one of those 85 people has come in from the previous days. Twitch can be a fickle beast at times. Okay, let's check out Nekdos Clicker while Nekdos is filling in those details. Tearful, hello, good to see you. Welcome in. Remake of an old Scratch clicker game I made a couple years ago. If you want to play the original, click here. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Tearful. It's a game I'm still working on, an early build. Okay. In the game, you buy minions, and depending on their type, they do different things. You can also buy mouse cursors, which increase your game. Okay, you buy your clickers. Okay. In the future, I plan on adding a lot more stuff. The game contains jokes that you might not understand because it's mostly for my friends, but it shouldn't change the experience a lot. That's a weird disclaimer to put there. This game is work in progress. Expect a lot of changes, updates, and fixes in the future. Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that's to be expected. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and download. Okay. Very Sigma game. I was smashed. Jeez. Building a password manager in Batch, but I'm stuck. Oh my goodness. Best of luck. I don't even know what Batch is. That sounds like rad. Anti-vibe follow means nothing if they don't show up. Can't really go off of it. It's true. It's true. I've been seeing that with this YouTube short that kind of exploded for me. Ended up at 185,000 views, which is, relatively small scale as far as shorts go. But it's a lot for me. And we got like 300 plus subscribers on YouTube, and I don't think our other videos went up nearly at all. But that's okay, You just keep putting out stuff, and what people find valuable, they'll stick around for. That's great. Start and stop many times for streaming. People don't really come back after a cold streak. Yeah, it's true, Queen Anne. It's Queen. It's true. Might contain inside jokes. It's a scripting language. Yeah, I wish I could help out, Tearful. I don't know if anyone in here has any experience with that or not. We do have a programming help channel in our Discord. But if you're going to go, jump in there and solicit help, which we definitely encourage, we would also encourage you to kind of provide feedback and help for other people. Because this is a charitable enterprise devoted to helping everyone that wants to enter the game industry. So we're all about skill level up here and helping each other out and supporting each other. That's why we're going to jump into this game analysis. We do a lot of game analysis here. I'm a product designer of 10 years experience. And doing analyses and critiques are one of my favorite things in the world. So we do that a lot on this channel. On that note, I am going to jump into our game. We're going to share this. Where are we? There we go. Got to keep grinding. That's right, Anti-Buy. That's right. Okay. So here we are. We have no music because I believe in participating in the medium as it was intended. So this is a really good, okay, first off, there's a lot to talk about here. Nekdos, I didn't see any, I'm looking for feedback about X, Y, or Z things. So I'm just going to go general, and hopefully something will be of value to you. The game has no sounds yet, exactly. And that's why we do it without sound. That's why I don't layer music on top, even though it kind of hurts viewership because people are a little bit more bored by it. It's important to see where are areas that this experience kind of benefits from and draws from. The audio is oftentimes forgotten about in indie game dev, and it's a shame. I was talking to this friend of mine, this Luthery, who says he has a contact who teaches violin, and for the past 20 years has been doing video game music as well as his teaching and sales and everything. And he is very frustrated about the state of the industry because it's shifting so heavily towards mobile. And in mobile, sound is so much less valuable because most people are playing, waiting in line at the supermarket or whatever. Nektos, feedback around UI and balance would be helpful, but I'm looking in general. Okay, great. We're just going to keep derailing the stream with different games from the actually planned one. That's fine. Okay, so first off, I don't have a windowed mode option for this. We jumped straight into the game. So I can no longer see Twitch chat. I'm going to not respond for a little bit. I will try and make breakpoints to jump in and see what everyone's saying, but if I'm not seeing your messages, that's why. So first off, very chunky bit aesthetic. I really like it. It feels very cohesive. The art, with its harsh lines, low res, the very rigid pixel art scrolling in the background, and then the typography as well. I talk about typography all the time. It all feels very cohesive. Very nice. I like the scrolling pattern in the background. I think that adds a lot to the game. We were talking about how music kind of helps you stay engaged in an experience. This background is doing the same thing. If this were standing still or a plain gray background, 3 billion times worse, right? It was probably fairly low effort and is doing a lot for the experience to make it feel professional and like there's something waiting for me. If I can just dive in, it'll be there. So we have one element on the screen along with the money. That automatically kind of tells you these things are going to be related, right? This coin is going to relate to this $sign thing up here. And since there's only one thing, I'm naturally going to try and experiment with that. I'm going to mouse over it. Also, custom mouse cursor, very nice. I mouse over it. We get that nice bounce Bezier curve animation, the grow. See that? It's not just a expand and shrink. It's a bounce, right? Take a look at that. Kind of goes beyond and comes back and wiggles a little bit, right? Very good. Very nice. Oh, and I just noticed that's a smiley face. I thought that was kind of like a dour, kind of happy, but solemn sort of eye shape, and eyebrows. No, it's a smiley face. Okay, I got it. And then far down below, I finally noticed press space to open shop. Cool. I see all this and I think, cool, now I know that this is all here. I'm just going to move. Oh, escape open settings. Oh, lovely. Nektos, thank you. That's great. Oh, shoot, and we're in ads. I didn't even notice. We'll be right back. We do pause during ads. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Okay. Yeah, I do love that little smiley face there. Very cute, right? So that's one of those Kano model things, right? Where having a smiley face for your checkbox instead of a checkbox, probably very low effort to implement, very cute. It's a little bit of a delight. Experience spikes, right? Oh, and frowny face. So sad. Some people might feel a little bit judged by that, because I know a lot of people turn off screen shake kind of by default, but whatever. I think it's cute. Okay. Let me just triple check OBS and make sure that we are capturing things well. Okay, good. All right, great. Now that we're in Windows mode. Okay. I'm going to click. Ooh. It rotated. Okay, so it's kind of jiggling in a random rotation. I was wondering if it was going to spin. It looks like it's a random rotation. And it looks like we're getting 1,000 per. So this is already telling me this is going to be a very high scaling game. We're starting in the thousands, right? This is gonna get logarithmic real quick, probably. K $ means carp dollars. Oh, so okay, so there's a mental model mismatch, right? I thought that was $24,000. Carp dollars. Maybe that might get sold better if, like, it's the fish up there instead of a K, because K has that very heavy numerical connotation, right? Okay. Do I have enough stuff for money? Also, it would be nice. I didn't know about the escape to open settings. Having just a little on-screen element would be nice. Some gear or something that's faded away, like this space. In fact, you can even make the shop visual. I don't know. We'll see what the rest of the game has in store. Okay, so we have 50, 450, and then we have this comma placed in a weird space. It could be that's an international formatting that I'm unfamiliar with. I don't know. I'm kind of confused why it's on the second one there. Have those fish biscuits as currency. Yeah, Jack. Hey, Spartan over on YouTube. How's it going? So Carpfin, cute little fella. Per click, bar fills up by clicking. We need 50. That's our minimum. Okay. And then I'm assuming this is upgrade the shop to get new things. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade. I like the text and the particle animations. I like how the text wobbles. The nice coins coming out. What happens if I just click one coin? So each coin is a click. That's nice. I like the kind of the spark visual effects. This is all feeling very juicy. I'm really, honestly, I'm pretty impressed. So I have 175, and this needs 1,40. Can I buy it? No. Can I buy this? Yes. So then I don't know what the comma is there. Maybe we'll find out more. We can buy another... Oh, wait, did I get an additional basic cursor? Oh, okay, and so now clicking on this is also filling up this thing, which is a lot more interesting. Okay, cool. So it's kind of cascading down in a way. 1,40K is 1,400. Okay, that was lost to me. Okay. Use the day to make some fish money, or as they say, carpe diem. Oh, Cubus. Okay, so we're definitely getting way more money now. Oh, we could buy sounds. See, I was wondering if that might be something. Mini games. Interesting. Okay. Let's get Depes. There we go. Smell a little fishy, but does his job. Automatic. Oh, so this is different modes. So we have a per click, and then we have automatic. Bar fills up automatically. Interesting. Okay. Attacking? Attacking? What's that? European localization uses comma instead of period. Right. Yes. And I'm familiar with the comma for dots, right? But it's the like 1,40. I'm expecting the triple the 3 digits, right? And this could just be a blind spot in my life experience. I'm not familiar with anything being like that. Yeah, 1.4K. Okay, so it is American thing. Okay, so this is an international format that other people would recognize, and I am missing. So there you go, Nektos. For what that is worth. Okay, so we are cruising through money. I like that we've got our rate there. That's important in this type of a game to help you feel really satisfied. I'm also seeing this ring fill up around the coin. What's going to happen when we get to the top there? Ooh, are we in like hyper mode? I don't know what's happening. This feels like I should be clicking a lot. Okay. Let's see. Is my bar filling up faster now? Is my purple guy filling up faster? Maybe he was filling up faster. We got a ton of money. Okay, let's grab a couple of the golden carps. This is feeling very juicy, I'm not gonna lie. Feels really juicy. Have it here too in Canada, like 1.4K would be 1,400.00. Sure, yeah. Okay, cool. I like the little animations up here. Very nice. And I like the visual effects of the sprite recoloring and the explosion from behind. Feels very good. And I also kind of like that the visual effect is the same behind each of them. I thought about maybe that it might be nice if they were different, but I bet this gets pretty busy. And I think having unique visual effects on each of them would have the potential of just being incredibly visually noisy and not very communicative. Yeah, Nectos, we've got a lot of incremental fans here in the chat. Also have it in RuneScape. 7K would be 7.000. Sure, yeah. Most idle games do 3 significant figures just usually after 1,000. Yeah, and maybe that's an international date formatting thing. I don't know, because that's how it is in my experience as a freedom lover. Is I hope everyone knows I'm joking. You get 3 digits and then a comma. 3 digits and then a comma, right? So that could very well just be something outside of my experience. All right. So it's at this point I'm starting to kind of wind down a little bit. There's always that point in incremental games where you kind of stop progressing as quickly that you're like, okay, all right, like when are we gonna 10,000 for a cursor feels like a lot. Like I'm mashing my triple click button and it feels like I'm just not really growing very much. Bar fills up automatically, but also by clicking. When filled, the minion attacks the carp coin a couple of times. Oh, that's what attacking means. So I wonder, okay, so what does that mean the minion attacks the carp coin? Does it like act as another cursor for me? Let's keep moving up the chain here. In other words, until we can all agree on the same system, it will still be confusing for everyone, just like date, month, year versus year, month, day, and so on. Yes, that's why you always use the first 3 letters of month instead of numbers of month. Click power increases the amount that bar fills up by. Oh, interesting. Okay, so none of this becomes, this is not an idle game. This is not idle. This is a clicker. This is an incremental game. Okay, got it. All right. I'm seeing the attack animations come through. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, okay. So it's like giving me extra clicks. Okay. And click power is 3. So I'm going to buy this, which is now click power 2. So do I have 2 cursors now, or is this just my upgraded cursor from now on? If I click on it once, 2, 4. Okay, yeah. So it's just the upgraded cursor. Okay. It is 100% a clicker game, Listios. Yes, there's no automation in this, which I don't know. I think that's an interesting thing to discuss. I like the idea of incremental games moving into a more active space. I feel that clicking as fast as you can is a really quick way to build carpal tunnel into your user base. I mean, I guess there is some automation, right? You've got these guys. And I guess when you start attacking, that counts as clicks for the other things. Okay, I actually see the trickle down now. Okay. It's just, it feels like it's way more efficient to be clicking. Which, you know, is probably the intention, right? But I'm kind of always looking for a way to like, okay, I've done my part now. How do I offload this? Or is there going to be a way of interacting with this that I can not have to go to the doctors for? Pink Blob is automatic, yes. And so is this guy to a certain extent. And when he goes, he attacks, which counts as clicks for all the other guys. So like there is that automation. Every clicker lover uses auto clicker. Yeah. Hold to click is a really good way. Yes. Absolutely, Ben will. Hold to click. Yes. 100%. I mean, I'm very impressed with the juice. This is the thing that I'm coming away with the most here. I really like the polish, and I love seeing this attack. And when I noticed, oh wait, that attacking is hooking into other things, all of a sudden I started to think, oh, okay, I'm starting to see how there's some more thought into this, and I'm kind of curious to keep going with it. That was kind of my moment of, ooh, okay. Watched a lot of videos on YouTube about game juice. It shows, man. I think you've got something really solid to build off of here. Early versions have a lot of things on it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we could get that. Or we could get some more stuff. Let's get some more stuff. Okay, yeah, we're starting to like see it all kind of go higher and higher and higher. I kind of wish there was a way that I could offload my clicks to, instead of clicking on the coin, to like start buffing up these guys. Like some alternative thing to click, like giving them food or something to speed them up, to take away the aggravating thing from me. Visuals are very satisfying. I totally agree. You just have to seize the day and make a game. 100% anti. 100%. All right, we're going to keep jamming on this. I want to see at least what that next layer of shop is before we kind of dive into an Octalysis framework, because I want to see how things start to interact. This is one concern that I have, is that this, like most incremental games, doesn't have a lot of restraints, right? Your only restraint is time. So given that, it means ownership goes down very high, right? Or goes down very low, because my version of Carp Clicker is going to be the same as everybody else's version of Carp Clicker. And the only difference is going to be the amount of time we have invested into it. Hey, guy. And so something like Orb of Creation, right, we've looked at before, has a lot of constraints built into it by its very design. And that makes you feel a lot more accomplished when you figure out the puzzle to now reinvest your things. It also makes it feel like my version of Orb of Creation is going to be slightly different from everybody else's, because I've invested in different things. I've set up my rules in different ways. What does ownership mean? That's a great question, Nektos. Thank you for asking that. Ownership is one of the points of Octalysis, and we talk about Octalysis a lot, but just remember, it's just a framework. It's just something to help kind of provide a language and a discussion. It is not a comprehensive discussion of what works or does not work in a game. It's just something that's helpful to anchor us. So ownership is how personalizable is it, right? This is what Animal Crossing does. Ownership. Everyone's island is completely different. And they knew that that was going to be a huge deal in the most recent one, because they let you visit other people's islands. How many viral things did you see of people exploring bizarre islands and seeing what they all made? How many people just spent hours and hours and hours exploring different islands? That's because they had ownership over that island. Their island was unique. It was personalized, right? So in here, obviously you're not going to be getting really any of that, and that's more or less fine, right? That animation could be a little bit tighter. It felt really slow on that build-up, especially without sound effects. Sound effects may make me more willing to stick around for it. I do feel empowered to a degree, just because the juice is so high. The game feel is really strong. But I'm not... I don't know. It feels like I only have one way to interact with the game, which is clicking on the coin. So it starts to, that juice, which carried me very far, is kind of starting to wear off. And I'm like, okay, so that was the delight stuff, but like, where are the basic features, right? Why would I do this over another clicker game? And that's what I'm looking for, is like, I'm wanting to see more interconnected systems, right? So let's open up the shop and let's see if we have any new keywords. So we have more per click. We have another attacker. I really want the attacker. Automatic, per click, attacking, and special. This is what I want to see. With the power of imagination and schizophrenia, increases your profit by 40%. Okay, so it's a passive increase. That's not as special as I was kind of hoping it was going to be. I'm hoping for ways that these things will work with each other and create this sort of emergent gameplay, where if I can spot the pattern of, oh, wait a minute, if I get the pistol, then it will hook into these other things, and now I have unlocked something cool. I have made something a lot stronger because I was clever enough to spot the pattern. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Background art in this game reminds me of Balatros. I could definitely see that. Something like giving hats to minions could increase that. It could. It could increase that. Hats are one thing. Like Super Auto Pets does that, right? You can have a hat. You can change the background of your arena that you fight in. You can do all sorts of stuff. So I see like the sounds. I get the feeling that that's probably going to be a part of ownership, is having special sounds that you buy and like you slot in. Mouse cursors. Like if you're going to go this route, you could also have like skins for them. Add a hat, anti-buy. You got it. You got it. Hold on. Oh. Okay. Clickers are very niche games. That's for you, Jack. You either love or hate them from what I've seen over time. I do spend a lot of time on clicker and idle games in my free time, but my girlfriend doesn't get what I find interesting in watching numbers go up. Wife Quest is the same way. She does not understand clicker games at all. Like, not at all. Talking about giving hats to minions. Hey, just because it's true doesn't mean you gotta say it. I remember 25 years ago in math class putting a very large number on my calculator, then do -1 to clicking on equals for hours. Oh, wow. Interesting, Alistios. Very interesting. I think a psychologist would have a lot to say about that. Is RuneScape a clicker game? I haven't done too much RuneScape. I know that there are a lot of MMOs that are coming out recently that have like an autoplay mode. And I wouldn't even call those clicker games, because it's literally just click autoplay, and then the game goes and runs and goes through all the quests. I mean, with literally no player input. So I guess you could call that an idle game, but I wouldn't call it a clicker. The ancestor of clickers, I guess. Okay, let's get the pistol. I want to see what happens here, because I feel like getting another click, another attacker, is going to really unlock something for us and speed things up a bunch. Okay. So it is speeding things up, and I do like it, and I like seeing these bars go up and everything. That white before it fills up, very nice. But I'm needing that little oomph. I'm needing that, like, oh, as soon as I get this, I'm going to really take off and go into the stratosphere. Like, incremental games kind of thrive off of that. Ooh, as soon as I get that next upgrade sort of feeling, right? I'm not really feeling that here. Once again, it's very early, right? And this is not an indictment of skill level or anything. This is just a critique of the product as it stands right now. I played a game that was like, wow, except the core gameplay was waiting for timers to finish. There was a PvP guild mode. Really? It was all automated. That's really interesting. Okay. I think we've played a lot of Nektos. Let's jump into our framework here. I just closed it. I shouldn't have closed it. Darn it. Okay, whiteboard. Where do we even go next? I'm gonna make a new one. I'm gonna duplicate it. Sundown. No, you are. Welcome in, Sundown. Good to see you on YouTube. How you doing? What I would add to this game is falling coins to click on to give boosts and maybe negative effects too. You could. Definitely could. I had a lot of people who were using it as a way to come off of WoW addiction. Oh, wow. Sorry. My inner Owen Wilson overcame my sense of reason there. That's really interesting, Queen Anne. Okay, get our section up. We're going to call this analysis. And then I'm going to grab our Octalysis framework. Once again, it's just a framework. It's not a yay or nay or anything like that. It's just this is something to give us some language to discuss it. Okay. Change that maybe to dark purple. Okay. Okay. If you would want to cheat a bit, you can press tilde to double your coins. Okay. I probably would have played it more if it didn't have no max level. That really started for me. Oh, interesting. Okay. So, let's go ahead and drop our circles here. Epic meaning. If you are one of Nekdos's friends who knows those jokes, this will be a little bit higher. For most of us, though, it's a clicker. Clickers are not really known for becoming a Jedi or going out and saving the world, right? And that's fine. It doesn't have to be. Not every game has to be everything. Empowerment, I told while we were playing, I was saying this kind of feels somewhat empowered. How do I turn off the snap to grid on this? We'll just do a little dot. I was wanting more. I was wanting more empowerment, whether it's in your choice of upgrades or whether it's in other things that you can interact with, whether it's like an active, I am interacting with the world, or it's a passive, I am strategizing, right? So I think something that would really benefit Nekdos Clicker is to decide which side of that does it want to lean into. Does it want to go into the high strategy side, or does it want to lean into the Twitch gameplay side? Because otherwise, it's kind of just going to be a really juicy clicker game. There's only so far that's going to go, right? There's a lot of clicker games on the market now, and why would anyone play this over one of the other ones? They've already sunk in so much time. I tried WoW and didn't like it one bit. Arcade, on the other hand, was amazing before it was ruined by greed. Okay. Plan on adding secret mini games that give you bonuses. There's an example of it in minigames tab. I don't think. Oh, I thought I clicked on. Ooh. Hold on. We have ads starting up in just a minute. I'm gonna run an ad and reposition to a chair so I can take care of this guy a little bit better. We'll pick this back up again in just a little bit, and I'll run up and I'll check out those mini games too. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone, with those ads. So I jump back into here, and I see the mini games. I thought, I don't know. I don't really see anything. And then, wait a minute. What's this? And I don't know yet. I don't know. Let's find out. Can I click? Can I drag? Click and drag? No? Nekdos, what am I supposed to do there? Let's kind of level up to where we were before. Thank you for that cheat code, Nekdos. Really appreciate it. I'm just gonna level up. We'll see what this game kind of has to offer in its ultimate form, right? Ooh, can I select different ones? Ah, okay, so a little UI affordance here to say this is selected, because I was concerned when I bought the big screwdriver. I was like, oh shoot, if I buy these, does it like overwrite it? And then it did overwrite it. I was like, oh no! But then I realized I could probably click on it. So having some sort of UI state to say this is selected would be good. Check the mouse cursors tab. And read descriptions. I wonder what could... Oh! These are screws! Okay. Oh! Okay, this is cute. This is cute. I like this. Work in progress. Oh, the troll. Okay. This is pretty satisfying to watch once it kind of gets to this point. This is nice. So I think for me, what this really comes down to is a matter of identity. What is Nektos Clicker supposed to be? Is it a game about that kind of runs in the background and is just juicy, background dopamine generator? Is it a puzzle-y sort of experience where you're meant to explore and interact with it? Is it meant to be something you really heavily interact with? You spend dedicated time interacting with the incremental mechanics. It kind of feels like it's trying to be all of those, but without a way that they tie into each other, right? So you could do these theoretically all at the same time. Background mixed with the others might be a little rough, but they need to reinforce each other and interact with each other, right? Get screwed. So, geez, only 15. My goodness. Social influence low, unpredictability fairly low. There's not a whole lot of like random stuff. Although that mini game does kind of like get me intrigued. It's like, oh, well, maybe I'm supposed to like really go exploring in here. Avoidance, you're not really avoiding anything. Once again, there's not traditionally a lot of constraint in Cookie Clicker. Your only constraint is time, so you're not really avoiding losing anything. Scarcity, same thing. Ownership, we talked about that. And then accomplishment, it's kind of there. So I think even though these are low scores, once again, this is why I re-emphasize Octalysis is just like a framework. It's just a thought process to formulate things. It doesn't account for everything. The juice in the game makes everything feel very good. Adding in sound effects that are just as good as those visual effects would do a lot. But for me, why would I keep playing it? I feel like it's got to come down to something like this. And you may decide, oh, it's none of these. It needs to be something else. But I'm just getting from the game that it doesn't quite know what it wants to be. It doesn't know what it can do to stand apart from the other clickers. Other than just be a very well executed clicker, which right now it kind of is. It's early, like you said. And if you kept building along this trajectory, it would probably end up being a well-done clicker. I just wonder, like, if we're looking at, like, market viability, is that enough to secure income, to secure revenue, to secure an audience? I'm not convinced it would be there. But if it can find a direction to go in, I think you'd have something. Especially if it's, like, mobile, right? So those are my thoughts. Nektos, was there anything you were hoping to kind of get feedback about that we haven't talked about yet, or anything you wanted to bring up that we haven't managed to discuss yet? And while you're typing that out, thank you so much for presenting this for critique. I want to re-emphasize, creating art is an act of courage, and releasing it into the wild, especially on the internet, is particularly courageous. And then soliciting critiques from people is extra triple courageous. And I'm inspired by it, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's vital if we want to grow as creatives. Every creative has to go through a process where they get critiqued in order to produce their best work. It's just how it goes. What about UI? Does it feel intuitive? Let's jump back into it real quick. I did, unfortunately, close it out again. Oh, you'd think I'd learn. Oh, and my cursor has gone away. me close out and open back up again. Yeah, still no cursor. But I think I got it. There we go. Okay. Transition. So as far as the menu goes, this is a little tight, this spacing here between windowed and English. That could get brought up a lot. Give it some more breathing room. Don't be afraid of white space. You show a lot of good respect for white space on this screen, right? Being able to have all that space is empty, very strong design sense. Don't be afraid to have some more in here. I think this is a third of the screen height, right? So you got top third, middle third, or maybe 3/5. Interesting. Your hover state could be a little more obvious. You've got it on a very light teal that kind of, yeah, it looks very close to the white. I would recommend making that a little more obvious. And then you got your vertical line here, which is good. It does tell me there is a separation between these things, and usually that seems to indicate a hierarchical relationship. But there's no like settings tab over here to open this up. So, you know, just my interpretation moving through this and realizing, oh, this is all just completely different from this. And then as well, you probably want to have some more consistent padding. The margin here between quit and the edge is very big compared to this. So this ends up feeling very squished, and this ends up feeling a little extra spacey than it maybe should be. So they don't have to be equidistant. You don't want them equidistant, but by bringing this in or pushing this out would kind of help that feel a little bit more. Okay. And then as far as the UI goes, once again, we talked about adding the settings button. We talked about adding possibly a shop button to click on. All this works. I was kind of intrigued by this line here. I was like, why do I have two things? But then my next immediate thought was, oh, it's probably like a progress bar to show how much of it I have, which I like a whole lot more than saying like 2 of 20, right? Which a lot of clicker games end up doing. So I appreciate that. The tabs here, you've got good signifiers to say this is the tab that we're in. I might recommend moving this to the left because in Western society, we tend to look top left down to bottom right in terms of order of what we view. So if you want people to be moving between these different tabs and exploring them, once again, right, is this a puzzle game that we want to encourage people to look around in? You really want to encourage that visual hierarchy off to the side. Hey, Narvin, good to see ya. You're gonna need a band system. You got good affordances here. I like that slide in, slide out. It's very nice. And I like the slide back in when it deselects. That's all very nice. Good transitions there. On sounds, it feels like this icon is getting a little close to the edge. Yeah, like these ones have like 2 full pixels worth of space, and this one looks like it only has like a half of one. So I would scooch that in a little bit. Same thing with Megacarp here. Make sure that spacing around your icons is all consistent. Same thing with mini games. But I do like the oh, what was I even gonna say? I got distracted by mini games. Yeah, I like having different backgrounds for them. Those different background colors help anchor the player. That's called wayfinding. Wayfinding is a design principle that says that informs you on how to educate people on where they currently are, right? It's kind of exactly what it sounds like. Like a sign is wayfinding. Those different colored backgrounds are wayfinding. Oh, and there are even different icons in the background. That's interesting. That's kind of nice. I like that. It's nice. Once you get to the top here, this green feels a little out of place, but it does have good spacing. I will say that. Good spacing next to the purchasing option and space in between it and the next one. I might also increase the vertical space a little bit. Well, I don't know. It's already kind of increased. Still feels a little bit off. Like the vertical isn't quite as much as this one. And I don't know if you want to create a feeling of separating hierarchy here of like, these are tier 2 upgrades, or do you just care about they're all upgrades? You can go check in. That's going to inform your design, right? If you want them to feel different, add some more spacing, add another little line there or something, some sort of indicator of look, this is the next layer of shops. If you don't care about that and you just want them all to be upgrades, yeah, go ahead and lump them all together. But I would consider making the horizontal and the vertical space be consistent. It may not be the right option, but it would definitely be something to explore. Okay. We've talked about the juice. It's kind of off the charts. It's great. This line is a little hard to see, especially early on. Once I kind of figured out what I was actually looking at, then it made sense. So you may want to explore making that a little more obvious, and you may not. One thing you could do, I don't know if I like this idea or not. One thing you could do is grouping things together so all the automatic stuff is next to each other and all of the attacking things are next to each other. I don't really know if that would gain you much other than just being able to quickly sort visually what is doing what. I don't know if that's really worth it or not. This is how mega corporations make their money. That about making a bar that separates tier 1 upgrades from tier 2. And that's totally just going to come down to design intent, right? Like, do you want the upgrades to feel different? Do you want to... there's something to be said for emphasizing that. Like, if you have that separation, that is going to make it even more likely that people will ignore upgrades they didn't get in tier 1, and they will exclusively focus on tier 2 until they just have oodles of cash, and buying these ones is like nothing, right? Maybe you can hide previous tiers too. It might get busy if there are a ton more items in the future. It could be, yeah. And then you could start looking at some progressive disclosure. You could look at ways to collapse or expand, all that sort of stuff as you grow. Space to close shop. Once again, you could just have an X icon and leave the space as a keyboard shortcut for your power users. I'm not going into and out of the shop so often and so fast that I really need that shortcut. But I like the typography as well. I like that you've got a very limited amount of typography using the same typeface for everything. It's a really big temptation for people who are early on to bring in all sorts of different typographic styles in order to try to communicate things to the player, and I like that you kept it very simple. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all my thoughts on the UI. You've got good spacing on here. The tooltip could maybe use a little more padding. Yeah. It feels a little tight, especially on the horizontal padding, the left and right padding compared to the top and bottom. That's one thing to be looking out for. Consistent spacing is a very subtle way to make things look a lot more intentional and professional. So, having consistent uniform spacing across everything, unless you have a good reason not to. Once again, right? All mental models are wrong, but some are useful. Okay. Yeah, anything else, Nectos? I think we pretty much went over this with a fine-tooth comb. This is cool. This is way better than I was expecting it to be. I'm not gonna lie. And that was before I even knew you were 15. So, really well done, Nectos. Cool. All right. That is that. We're going to go ahead and jump into Death Must Die now, because they have a big update. Thank you. You're very welcome, Nectos. Thank you. Thank you for submitting. They have a big update coming in, and I want to do a YouTube video on it because I think it would be helpful for people. So we're going to do some research on it right now. We're going to open up Death Must Die. And I'm curious, because I played this a ton on my Steam Deck. I unlocked everything and got every achievement, I think. I 100%ed it. Ooh. Hold on. Let me go to OBS. Get this hooked up. So I'm curious if that's going to copy over with the Steam save or not. Take that out. Go to our game cap. Move it to Death Must Die. Hey, congratulations, Anti-Vi. Well done. I'm going to change this, of course, because I always do. We're going to just go to 1920 by 1080. And then I'm going to move this to where I can see it and monitor the stream at the same time. Good, good. Okay. Death Must Die. Let's take a look at this. So, just right out of the gate, this title screen screams interest, right? They've done a very good job on a lot of things. Haven't played this game in a while, didn't even know there was an update. It's not out yet. It's coming out on the 20th. So in 5 days, they're going to release Act 2. And Act 2 will come out, and it's going to introduce a whole new stage of the story, a whole new area to explore, and it's bringing in a new a new goddess, lovingly deemed already on a gut pulse reaction from their community as Muscle Mommy, and boy is that accurate. But just talking about this this title screen, sorry, my son is being very adorable right now. Yeah, hi, how are you? Title screen makes me want to close the windows. Close the windows? Which windows? What are you talking about, the game? Close the game? For me, it generates a lot of intrigue because we have this very clear winding path leading up to this kind of bizarre thing. Close the windows, as in like the actual literal windows. Got it. The ones in my house, it's getting cold. Yeah. So the artwork composition is very good. This highlight here is very important to draw your eye in to this winding path. They very carefully place these stalactites to bounce your eye off of them and bring you all the way to the top. We got that highlight up there to say, ooh, look, something interesting. We have the snow effects running through, which just looks like a very simple bokeh effect. That doesn't look like a very complex snow custom shader or anything. Just some minor random variants on the hue and then the shape. The sound effects are intentionally very absent. There's no strong music. It's creating that feeling of kind of inviting you in, right? It's like, ooh, big, mystical, empty space, right? And then you've got parallax on these items. So that feels good on hover. So you don't really notice that, but then you mouse over and you're like, oh man, this feels very intentional. Feels very good. And then those floating rocks just to provide a little bit more life. Very good. Typographically, they have their typographic logo, which does the job. Looks good. Looks very dangerous. All those sharp spikes and empty spaces to say like, ooh, kind of like paradigm breaking. The typography, once again, is good. They've got good affordances, good contrast flipping on the hover state, right? It's very clear you're in a hover state when you go on top of that. And they've got a custom mouse cursor, which is good. And all of their typography is the same, and you'll notice they chunk things together, right? So they have their 4 buttons here, which are things you may interact with, and then the thing that is kind of destructive, they put further down. Quit, right? Chunking. All of these things, you can touch. They're safe. This one, danger. We're going to move it further away. And then behind my head, there's a little chat bubble and a Discord icon. So overall, very effective title screen, very unobtrusive version number, assist with their support team. Then as well, if anyone's recording, people can see which version number they're recording on. So overall, very, very well done title screen. Let's jump in. Okay, good. It looks like it's going to keep all my progress. Good. So we start off here in our home base. And I'm going to have to relearn the controls because I've never actually played this on PC. I've only ever played it on the Steam Deck. And boy, does it work really well on the Steam Deck, by the way. This is a great, great game for the Steam Deck. Okay. So, you notice the character moves kind of slowly, but they have a built-in dash. And when they are in home base, you get unlimited dash. It's pretty loud, but I'm going to turn that down a little. Built-in dash so you can traverse really easily. That means they didn't have to build out like a separate traversal mode for the base. It's just like you can get in there. This is our sort of ascension system. You can self-select difficulty, which is really powerful. If I were to, take this into an Octalysis. Hold on, let me grab all this. And we're gonna see, this is Nekdos Clicker Remake. Boop. Okay. Oops. Middle. Okay. And then we're going to do this for Death Must Die. Okay. Epic meaning, they draw you in. I'll spare you the story bits, right? Because I've gone through quite a bit of them. But the basic idea is they've been kind of hinting that death has gone off the rails somehow. We don't We don't know incredibly how, but somehow Death has kind of been doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. And now all the other gods in this vaguely Grecian sort of aesthetic are now sponsoring you as these champions to try and go and kill Death because he is not respecting the natural order of things, essentially, right? So, like, there's some, it's nice. There's a nice mystery, so you want to kind of keep exploring. That's nice. The real epic meaning for me has actually come through the characters that you play as, and through little moments where they talk to each other, kind of Hades-esque. And those have been very lovely because they make their characters very imperfect and very vulnerable, and they break expectations in a lot of ways. And we'll get into that in a little bit when we see some of that. Empowerment. Before we even get into the actual gameplay, I'm going to put this pretty high and this is what I wanted to talk about, because you self-select difficulty, which, once again, we were talking about ownership earlier, is another way to increase ownership. My difficulty that I play at is going to be not necessarily unique to me, but I feel very in control over it, and I feel like I can personalize it to my own needs, right? So I can have all of these things, and it will be a super strong fight, and I get a whole bunch of increased item rarity, which is nice that they kind of provide that little extra oomph. I can say, you know what? I kind of don't like bullet spongy bosses. So I'm going to take bosses have extra life off. I don't want that. Or I can say, I'm going to showcase a game to my chat. I don't want to play for the first time in a super difficult setting on a platform I haven't tried before. So in that sense, ownership, right? Boost up. So we've got our little sorcerer gal, our obviously hypersexualized vixen. We're going to talk to Averon the Knight. Vertical bars. You see those? Cinematic mode. We have entered cinematic mode. And then we get this lovely conversation. And those conversations are quite meaningful. One of my favorites, if we change our character to this Highlander chick, Scotty, she is a big fan of Kront. Kront is this hero, this orc barbarian with legends. And, like, she sees him and she fangirls out. And the entire time, Kront is like, oh, yeah, you're a warrior too. That's great. And then she says things like, well, let's dive into a conversation here. I thought about what you said, and I want to prove myself, to become more than I am. Is that not a purpose, a quest? He was asking, why are you here? What's your purpose? He says, this depend. There's more depth to statement. Dig deeper. Ask the why. Which I asked why. When was your age, right? So, very different tone between all the characters. It doesn't feel like the same person talking. That's a good writing point. But also, they break the expectation by having the barbarian be the one to be her therapist. Right? Like, I see you going down the path that I went down. I'm going to pass on some wisdom. Not Conan level wisdom of, see your enemies driven before you, but like legit old man, like, I have regrets and I wish I had done this sort of stuff. And it breaks down that vision of hero worship into a human character. Really strong. 2D Fighter, how's it going? What did I miss? We did an analysis of Nekdos's auto clicker or clicker game, which was awesome. Honestly, I think I learned quite a lot about how to incorporate juice into gameplay and how to implement polish. So everyone should definitely go check out that VOD. Foolbox, love the pixel art. Yes, absolutely. And now we're checking out Death Must Die, because they have a big patch coming in a few days, which is going to introduce an Act 2 to the game, and it's going to introduce a new god to get level ups from. They're redoing all the progression, so instead of right now, it's fairly bare bones progression, where you get when you unlock achievements, you get access to one of these different fates that are different for each character. They're passive benefits that kind of change how the character functions. And they're redoing that. They're getting rid of it for the new update, and they're going to replace it entirely with talent trees. And I was nervous about that because in games like this, in Bullet Heavens, there's a tendency to make them farming games, in a sense, right? It's a grind game. And it's all about grinding out all of your skill tree, and then you can actually play the game. But they shared that they are building in restraints. And we've talked about this just today, about how important restraints are in creating gameplay. So they're not going to let you unlock everything on the talent tree. You only get X amount of points. And they said, look, within this constraint, these are a bunch of different build ideas you can make for the knight. And they kind of showcased how that can alter your character. So now you have to feel clever in order to make a build, right? Constraints. So we're going to go in with Scotty into the game. I want to pick a fate here that is kind of fun, but also a little basic. They're all pretty cool. Let's go with just life regen. So we're going to get some life regen to start off with on Scotty. And we're going to walk into the pool. Good effects. There's a lot we could talk about here. And the thematic symbology of entering Death's realm by drowning yourself, essentially, to go in there. Okay. We got controls. Summon whoever you like, Death. I'll be ready. A nice little text at the start to get you into it. We're going to toggle auto attack on because I always appreciate that on Bullet Heaven games. I don't like aiming on these things. It feels like that's not really the point of the game, you know? If this were Quake, you know, I'd want to aim. But, like, the point of this game is not how good are you at aiming. It's about, you know,
remember,
how good are you at building.
Most gods have unrighteous motives. Do not rely on those driven by sin. Okay,
so this will look very familiar to you if you've played Hades, right? We get this introduction from a deity who's going to now offer us a boon to level up our character. So we could talk about UI here. They give themselves lots of space, whole vertical height here, in order to display as many statistics as they need. Healing build confirmed, Alistias. You played this game. You know what's up. So we've got these up front and center. We've got some nice, good focus states with a nice animation. We have just a reminder to say who is the god that is doing it. We have a call to action, which is very important. We always forget about call to actions in games. That's important. You need to tell someone what you expect them to do. And then we have our re-rolling, our luck RNG manipulation over here. We can banish a blessing. We can re-roll. We can change to a different god. And so just looking at a layout perspective, right? If we go here and we do a copy of it, boop, and we go back to our browser. Let's bring it down here. Actually, no, we don't want it in FigJam. We want it in Figma. So we're going to take it over here with all these other games we've been tearing apart. And there we go. So we basically just have some rectangles, right? And then we have another rectangle that's rotated 45 degrees that the art lives in. I'm going to scale these down just a little bit until they're the right size. There we go. Oops. So, I mean, this is a pretty simple layout. It looks very impressive because of the UI art that has been done on it. And UI art is a very impressive field. It is something that I am really bad at. I am not an artist. And getting all these textures and everything looking right and everything, it's beyond me. I want to get better at it, though. But at the end of the day, we can break this down into pretty simple building blocks that you can reproduce on your game, right? And then we've got buttons. That's pretty much it. And the rest is just typography. Jam Biscuit, hello, welcome in. I'm so glad you made it. Good to see you, Jam Biscuit. And we are not raiding out for at least another half hour. So you're good. You made it. So good to see you, Jam. How are you doing? How's the community? How is your stream? While you are answering that, and by the way, you feel free to bounce and go lurk because you're raiding, so you're done. You need to go take care of yourself. While you're answering, though, we're breaking down Death Must Die. They have a big patch coming out in a couple of days, And I'm doing research for a YouTube video I'm going to make on it, on the UI and the UX of everything. Hi, and I've got my son who is just like so awake and so active right now. So we've been going back and forth between, what this experience is in the game, and then breaking it down into its very simple building blocks of this really impressive screen. Really is just this. That's all it is. Anyone can do that. You can do that. That's not hard. It's the polish that makes it look unapproachable for a basic individual, right? But at the end of the day, the layout is dead simple. We can also talk about typography here, right? Now, if you look at this screen, do you feel that it's a very busy screen? Polish is doable too. You just need to put in the effort. Exactly, Foolbox. You break it down step by step. You get the layout right and feeling good, and then you just do a little bit at a time, right? You figure out what graphics might look good here in the background, and then you figure out, well, what kind of a border might we like? And okay, well, let's start working on some icons. And then you start working on, well, what kind of a cool focus state animation could we do? And you just do it bit by bit, layer it one step at a time. Jam Biscuit, I finished my prototype. So next is artwork. Congratulations, Jam. What are you working on? What are you building? I have a spreadsheet that I like to keep everyone's work in. In fact, I need to remember to put Finn, they, them in. Because they showed off their launch, their desktop pet game. Yeah, what are you building, Jam? Jam Biscuit Games. 4/15/2024. Perfect. Okay. All right. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm betting this is the same as Novice, and then 5 typographic styles. In fact, that's probably the same size as Spell and Buff. It's just different color treatment. So they do have quite a lot of different typographic styles in here. That being said, I think they pull it off because they have enough contrast to have it all feel cohesive. So, and another design rule they kind of break here, but feels okay enough, is they have middle aligned text and then left aligned text. Typically, you kind of want one or the other. It's very rough to pull off mixing and matching. But obviously, they've done it in a way that really works. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that they de-emphasize things through color as well as they do. So we have contrast in size and contrast in color. These stat things, if this were full white like this up here, it would feel incredibly overwhelming and really busy. But the fact that they dim it down a lot, although I am a little worried about contrast and accessibility, other than that, it feels very good. We get the name, what level you're at, what rarity it is. So they're giving you the information that a lot of people are going to be using, frankly, to base a lot of their judgments off of, which is clever, right? Most people are going to go based off of what is the rarest, and I'm just going to pick that. Most people don't play games in a very intentional way. It's just the way it is. It's why Call of Duty is so popular. Because people don't have to think very hard in order to play it. They just kind of sit down and they can just go run around. A magic roguelike with some interesting twists, Jambisca's work. Okay, so when you say magic roguelike, do you mean a roguelike that includes magic or magic as in the card game Magic? So by including the rarity up top, they're communicating to most of their player base, this is kind of like what you're going to want to go for. And then as well, if you're returning and you're saying, oh, I know that I just want more armor. I see protection, I can just click on it. I don't have to read the stats. But they do expose the stats for their power users who really want to understand how is this going to affect my build, right? So I'm going to go with attacks become stronger and apply weakened. Okay. We've got our dash counters up above the head, right? Along with the health bar. That's very good. In games like this, when stuff gets really crazy on the screen, you want to duplicate your UI. You have your UI on the bottom. That's good. That's important. But this is the same thing as in like Bullet Hell games and Bullet Heavens, is you want the UI duplicated on top of the player where your eyes are going to be.
Insult to the order of the universe. He must be stopped.
Dragon Spirit Games, welcome in. We're doing a deep dive analysis into Death Must Die ahead of their Act 2 patch coming out in a few days. How are you, Dragon Spirit? How is your project going? Half Moon, thank you for the follow. Nerd Alert, Incredibro. Elysius, they went with color code between rarity 2. Yes. So choose on the fly what is better. Yes, absolutely. And we're going to see that as we keep on going. Yeah, I want to hear all about the stream, Dragon Spirit. Also, I recognize you're raiding because you're done. So feel free to go get some food, take a rest, do what you got to do. By the way, for all of you who are new here, we have a lot of new folks in here. We're a charitable enterprise devoted to helping people enter the games industry here at Fox Hollow Games. We just barely wrapped up a game jam that was very focused around skill development, around refining our sense of design and vocabulary around that. And now I'm doing a deep dive into Death Must Die to prepare myself for a YouTube video where I'm going to do a deep analysis video on the channel in time for their update. So welcome on in, everyone. Good to see ya. Managed to animate 5 frames for our jump animation. Very cool. Very cool. Dideric87. Dideric. Very thematically appropriate for Death Must Die. Welcome in. Glad to have the follow. Thank you. Hope you're doing well and hope you're making impossible things. Not easy with a female young girl protagonist in a purple dress. I believe that would involve a lot of things you'd have to be aware of, Dragon. Absolutely. Hold on. Do I have you in my spreadsheet, Dragon Spirit? I should. Yes, we do. Okay, good. Gaia's in there. Right on. That is super rad. I have a lot of respect for pixel animation now after having done a little bit for the game jam. This was my first time ever doing pixel animation. I was like, oh, this takes a long time. This is hard. Do we really have ads coming up soon? Oh, we do in 30 seconds. What a bummer. Okay, we're going to jump back into our analysis of Death Must Die as soon as those messages are over. Bezos demands his toll. There we go. A pen and paper idea for now. That's awesome. So when you say a pen and paper idea, is that like a pen and paper RPG idea? Or it is an idea you have for a game you want to build and it only exists on paper right now? Hey, this guy New Zealand. Good to see ya. Doing very well. Thank you for asking. Family's doing very well. I got little guy just right on my lap right here. And we're diving. We do have ads starting in just a second. Don't go anywhere. We're going to pause. We'll be right back and do more Death Must Die analysis as soon as we get back. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Gonna jump back in here. Ooh, I'm gonna fix my camera. Yeah, this guy in New Zealand. How are you doing? How's your fam? How's everything going? Don't remember if I was allowed to post links here. Thank you for asking. And yes, you can, Dragon Spirit. You can absolutely post links in here. Diedrich, it's only an idea at this stage for an RTS game. I want to make. Ooh, we, you know, we're a little starved for RTS games. It's a genre that's kind of died. Ooh. Let's check this out. Look at that. Nice. That feels very like, first Prince of Persia jump animation, right? Prince of Persia. I want to see if I can get like a jump animation. Oh wow, the animation reference. Hold on, this is gonna be cool. This is the animation so far. 2 frames are still like wireframe. I see that. Yeah. It looks great though. Okay. Check this out. This is the original reference footage for Prince of Persia. The original Prince of Persia. So you see all that, and then they're going to transition into the game, right? They've got their wireframes that they're mocking out. There you go. See that? See that jump? Especially the that first jump that they did. I don't know. It feels very familiar to me, right? Isn't that just fascinating? Oh man, I could look at stuff like that all day. But I'm an old man. Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing, Dragon. Dragon Spirit. Excuse me. This guy in New Zealand, game's almost at the point where I can drag and drop stuff and it just works. Ooh, very exciting. Cursed floppy game. Oh, Diedrich, Prince of Persia was awesome. You watched that last week. You take that as a good sign. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I felt the inspiration for sure. Whether it was there or not, it definitely seemed like it. Death's actions are in okay, right. We're leveling up. Okay, so now we have our color coding brought in, right? We've got color in the title and in this. They could have done color in level as well, but they didn't. That's for reasons. Because the level is independent of these things. And then you might say, well, then why don't you like swap the order? And I think that's worth discussing as well. Or why do you have adept when you have color? And I think that's an accessibility thing, right? They don't want to rely on just color. You need more than color in order to communicate to your player. Because you never know that someone is viewing this in grayscale. So I think these are all important. I think the level is also a more hierarchically important piece of information for people when they're leveling up and they want to level up quickly. If this were hidden somewhere deeper down, then the time spent to upgrade is probably less. And they know this is not where the game is. This facilitates the game, and this makes the game interesting. But this is not the game. The game is when you click something. Okay. Let's get some increased pull area. Good animation there. Call me anything from Dragon to Spirit to Games, or Max, which is my actual name. All right, Dragon Spirit. Lovely. Max. Dragon Max. Dragon Max Spirit. Dragon Spirit Maxed. Max Games, Dragon Spirit. Max Spirit, Dragon Games. Welcome. Maximus the Dragon Spirit. Yes, this is a fun game. I love this game, Binwill. This is my favorite Bullet Heaven by a very large margin. Halls of Torment didn't really do it for me. I went to Halls of Torment after playing this, and I was like, this is way better.
Guy who thought he could bring someone back to life with lightning. You should try it while you're down there.
Cute little reference, okay. Let's get Chain Lightning. See, I mean, that's already so satisfying, right? That is tremendously satisfying. And we're only a minute and a half into the game. They've also given us a lot of level ups. So we're feeling very powerful early on. That's one big problem in a lot of roguelikes, which Bullet Heavens typically fall into, and this one certainly does, is the very beginning part of your game is the least interesting.
I'm shocking.
Which is a problem. We've talked about how most people are not going to finish your game. everyone that plays it will see the beginning. And it's a problem roguelikes have, where you never start off more boring than you do at the very beginning. Because you have no upgrades, you have no individuality, your ownership is 0, and you're still being asked to do things. So, like, it's kind of okay the first couple of times, but then if you've done a couple dozen runs, those first several levels until you start actually leaning into a build are abysmally boring. You're just, like, auto-playing straight through it. The characters' art, text box, little mini cutscenes remind me of Hades a lot. 100% Morrow. Yeah, 100%. Heroes of Torment was okay, but it had more of a Diablo 1 vibe than it being a real roguelite. I can see that, Alicios. I mean, it definitely did feel like Diablo 1 in its aesthetic very heavily. I don't know. It maybe felt more grindy than I was hoping it would. And when we're leveling up here, we're getting really cool level ups. Like, your dash turns you into a damaging ball of lightning. Your attacks have chain lightning, whereas in Halls of Torment, it felt like almost all of the upgrades were kind of just incremental stat upgrades. And then, like, you get your extra powers, and that's nice, but also they kind of only do so much. I don't know. I saw, like, what's his name? Some big streamer dude, long hair, Asmongold, say that, like, that was his favorite game of the year. I don't know. I don't get it. I literally saw him, like, just get up and walk away while I was playing it for the ending. And he just watched the gameplay while he went and, like, did laundry. It's not a fan of having to go back to the well to send back items versus just having them on you there. I agree, Alistios. It didn't quite work for me either. It was a little too restrictive. And I didn't feel empowered to really make builds. I felt like I had to grind out over and over and over and over again just to get, like, one set of equipment for one character. Let's get ball lightning. That seems cool. Bwomp. Isn't that rad? Doesn't that feel great? That's one other thing. And we're going to see this a lot as we continue to level up in this game. They're very good at giving you instant access to playing with your toys. As soon as you get them, they let you play with them, which is really good. So we can open up a special chest, which gives us a level up, because we beat an elite enemy. The Soda Can Knights, which was canonized. Whenever an enemy damages you, you heal back 1% and deal the enemy's damage back to it. Wow. And this is an area where, like, UX needs to come in. Multiplied before reductions, that means things to, like, mechanical designers and people who really get into the math of games. I've never been able to sort out additive or multiplicative or buckets and all that sort of stuff. Like, I've heard them explained countless times. I cannot just come into a game and say, like, oh, yes, multiplied before reductions. Of course, that makes... it doesn't really work for me. I'm going to take it, though. Kind of get a Thornsy sort of build going. Also, in the minimap, they show which are areas of interest for you to go into. So, like, Vampire Survivors, if you played that early on, there was no real level design, right? It was just a big empty field, and you just ran away from monsters in an infinite space. And it's a big problem with the bullet heaven genre that it has inherited from Vampire Survivors. So having these little points of interest to point you towards is good. So I can walk over to that grave, open it, didn't give me anything, that's fine. It was still gave me something to move towards while I was killing everything. To Halls of Torment's credit, they also do this. There are also cool things you can explore and find in Halls of Torment, including when you go all the way through a Halls of Torment run, there's a big boss that shows up, and they're very, very difficult. They have a ton of health, but if you have walked across the level and found some secret special things and you have items that will deal a ton of damage to the boss when they come in. And that's very clever. It brings some more level design into it. It gives you a goal to move towards other than just getting experience, right? I'm going to increase our Merciful Strike into an Adept. This sounds cool, the Divine Shield, a bubble, but I want the... We're going to be doing more attacking, hopefully, than we are taking damage. So I think this is going to be overall more useful. Especially since we have a Thorns build. I don't know how that interacts with... how the Thorns would interact with having a Divine Shield pop. If that would still activate the Thorns or not, I don't know. I don't know if you have to, like, take damage for it in order to work. I don't know. Pots, once again, just a good little thing to keep your brain active, little mini objectives to move towards, keep you having some sort of direction to move in. Because the worst thing you can have in a game like this is to just be standing there. So enemies with attack patterns, WoW style like raid, indicators on the ground, even on the basic enemies, really help reinforce that feeling of I need to keep moving. Keeps you engaged, keeps the empowerment high, like I am taking damage or not taking damage because I am being good. Let's get lightning orbs. And you'll see, as soon as I click on that, it spawns it in. So it starts with a fresh cooldown, and it automatically triggers. And I think that's really important. They could have made the decision that when you buy it, it is now at the end of its cycle and needs to cool down. However, by having that cooldown start at 0, so it is ready and it automatically casts, you amplify up that dopamine injection really heavily. So you don't have to wait, you don't get delayed gratification. It is like, oh, that's cool. That's what I just bought, right? It also helps in those instances where you're like, I don't know, I haven't even seen my upgrade trigger. Is it actually triggering? It also helps the feeling of confidence and trust in the build of the game itself. So very, very good design decision on their part. And then every now and again, you get these kind of, they fence you in. They say you don't get to roam anymore. You are now stuck. And then they throw in a lot of stuff at you. And these are really exciting things because look at all that stuff that's there. And in games like this, right, more bad guys on screen means more experience. But it's also really scary because they really swarm you. And if you're not prepared for that, you get knocked down pretty quick. So it's a very rewarding thing where they take control away from the player and they say, now you have to deal with this new constraint. Once again, right? Creativity, fun, all of these things thrive under constraint. And it's, once again, another dramatic tension arc. The arc goes up as you see that square come in, and then it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, increasing tension as they throw more and more bad guys. And then once you survive long enough, they release it all immediately. We'll see that. And you get this nice little denouement for a little bit while you recover and figure out all your new upgrades you've got by slaughtering all these massive waves of bad guys. Becomes smited. Alt for more info. So that's our progressive disclosure, right? That's an example of progressive disclosure. There is more stuff. They want to show you what is smited, what is stunned, but they're not displaying it to you by default. You have to request it by holding an Alt. Progressive disclosure. Okay. So take 30 damage and become stunned. Sure, that sounds nice. I think that means, like, someone was smitten. That's a good, strong sound effect. It's a little strong, but also I think it's a good idea because that's one of those types of abilities that is kind of hard to know whether it's triggered or not. All right, get a Stone of Power. Ooh, plus 100% damage. We got all these guys rushing in at us. Ooh, we got another boss monster. This is a summoner. He's going to be causing trouble for us unless we get rid of him. And then as well, you can see another way that they build more layers for the player to interact with the game. They have health and they have shields on monsters. And those two things behave a little bit differently. Let's get, when you traverse a certain distance, lightning bolts fall onto nearby enemies. And I'm curious when we click on this, are lightning bolts going to come down? Yes. Yep. So once again, it's not just cooldown based on time, it's also on that distance thing, right? So they said, you bought it, you get to instantly experience this. If at all possible, we're going to show you this cool thing you just bought. Very good. Love that. And you can see, like, I'm feeling very rewarded, right? I'm feeling very strong. Lots of really cool, satisfying things happening all over the place. And we're only 5 minutes in, and I think it goes for about 20 minutes. So they get past that beginning phase pretty quick. Now we get an event. This is Slay the Spire style type sort of events, right? This was the first time I've ever seen something like this in a bullet heaven. So do we gain... Well, let's actually read it. The book perks up as you get closer. It wants you to pick it up, to read it. Though maybe a bit later, when its pages won't be torn off by the mayhem around you. Do we borrow the book to get increased spell speed, or we don't read books and we get attack damage? we're kind of going with a little bit of a spell build right now. Our attacks aren't all that strong. I'm going to go for more spell speed. Now, speed is kind of a vague word.
Time again.
I don't know if speed means like projectile velocity. I don't know if it means cooldown time. Speed's a little vague to me. Ooh, gain more experience. Yeah, let's invest in future progression there. Okay. Again, nothing. And you kind of start getting to the point in this game where you're killing stuff that's mostly off screen, and it feels great. Peace of mind. I don't actually know what that does for me. Is that like stamina regen, maybe? Oh. New enemy types coming in. We're going to see that a lot. We're kind of moving past the beginning stage, and we're moving towards seeing more and more exciting stuff. Ooh, invulnerability. No harm can befall you. One quick second.
You're so mysterious.
Oh, you're stuck in here. How'd you get stuck in here? Did you follow me in? Okay, you're so mysterious. Okay, more dice to alter your god offer, so we get more rerolls and everything. You attack faster, which seems nice, but we're kind of leaning away from an attack build. Personally, I think killing things off screen is less fun. I like the idea of all the mayhem being right in front of me. I agree, Narvin. 90% of the time. I think 10% of the time, it's very satisfying. If you were in that mode of everything is in front of you, and then you make a decision that all of a sudden now you've pushed out and made it really far, then that's very satisfying. But if it stays there, it gets boring. So it needs to be this ebb and flow, right? Where you get this rewarding, oh man, look at all this room I have now because I made such a good decision. It's this really strong visual feedback. But then it needs to encroach again. The tension needs to escalate or else it becomes boring. We could get crit chance. I'm going to go with just... I'm going to reroll. Dashes become longer. That's really good because that's going to mean that our lightning ability stays on for longer. So that's good. And you're seeing with these guys, they have different attack patterns, we're starting to see, and different attack timings. So this goes into Miller's Law again. We need to start remembering at what point does that hammer come down from the soda can knight. Oh, we got bosses. These are our first bosses. Ooh. So you need to keep that in short-term memory, right? The amount of enemy types you have on screen needs to be balanced in a way that the player can gauge what is happening. If there's 800 different enemies and they all have different attack timings and they all have different attack, you're gonna get hit. It's not gonna matter. Let's go with increased move speed because it's actually pretty strong. Level up our thorns. And you see, after the boss, they're throwing pretty weak enemies at us. That's our denouement. That is our, okay, now we get to kind of rest. We get to recharge. We get to heal up maybe if we can. All that sort of stuff. Let's go with longer dashes. It's very clever. They could have brought back in, hey, you beat the boss, time to really amp up the challenge. But they don't. They recognize you need that time of de-escalated tension in order to recover emotionally. And then you can ramp it back up, right? Dramatic tension arcs. That's all it is. So now they're bringing in these shield guys, which have a ton of armor, and I think you actually deal damage to their health directly if you hit them from behind, although I'm not totally sure about that. And we're bringing in archers that are bringing in projectiles for us to dodge, right? We're slowly amping this tension back up. In fact, we're even getting an elite archer down here. Ooh. Let's go for more experience. Blah. And then they start talking to you, which feels very silly. But it also makes the world feel more alive, right? That's one of those delightsome features that is, probably not the craziest high of effort, but has a high impact on the player's ability to feel verisimilitude, that this world is alive, it's real. It's not just pixels on a screen that I'm engaging with to try and, engage brain chemicals. It feels like something. It contributes to that epic meaning even more, right?
Time's hourglass is the center of their power, yet they handed it to you so that death may face judgment.
Okay. Level up our thorns. And I'm kind of at this point now where I'm feeling quite strong. And my interest is starting to wane. I'm starting to feel, we're getting a little boring. I need challenge to increase. And you see it's dropping off. Just in time. This is so perfectly timed for all the ghosts to start coming in. The ghosts are super fast. They have a really fast attack animation. They hit really hard. But they're kind of weak if you have the right kind of damage. So that was perfectly timed to my dramatic tension cycle, right? Let's get an expert level bubble. So now these things are rushing in. I'm freaking out. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I get away from them? I cannot stay away from them forever, especially we have this Banshee chick with the dual swords, and she is dastardly. She is crazy fast. You're never going to outrun her. And she attacks really fast and hits hard. So now I'm getting very engaged with my dashes, feeling very rewarded that I have picked dash-related damaging effects. That felt good, right? Really, really good. Level up our vacuum to pull in experience, or magnet, rather. And another interesting thing is that they didn't do a full denouement like they did off the boss. They're bringing in a bunch of elite enemies, but just not as dangerous ones. They're slower. So they went off of high intensity, really dash in, deal damage to you, to now still tough enemies, but it's a lot slower. So you have more breathing room. Even though you still have a good challenge to deal with, you get a moment to breathe after that really intense fight. Let's increase our smiting thing that we have. So presenting different types of challenges is another way that you can alter the dramatic tension cycle for your players. You don't always have to go from high intensity to low intensity. This is what I'm learning. You don't have to go from low intensity to high intensity. You can go from high intensity of one sort to high intensity of another sort. And I guess it wouldn't even be a difference in intensity. They're both fairly tense. This is a lot of armor to try and crunch through, right? But it's slower, and so I have room to breathe. So it's a tempo. Tempo is another thing to consider. Even though difficulty is still intense, it is also tempo. How much time you get to react to the difficulty. Okay. More experience. More experience. Level 18. We're 11 minutes in, so we're averaging much more than one level per minute, which is a pretty fast rate. In terms of just in general, right? That's a lot of levels to be crunching through. If they slowed that down, though, this game wouldn't feel anywhere near as good. You need to be picking those upgrades all the time. And getting a little stretch of reward where you see the impact of what you've chosen. Let's increase the rarity, status of our vacuum, our magnet pole. Dash through all these attacks. Seeing all this lightning dropping down, and it feels amazing. Womp. Dash through the projectiles. Still feeling good. I feel very empowered, right? It feels almost Dark Souls-y. And if I lose, if I take damage, it's because I made a mistake. They have given me a lot of tools to deal with all of the insanity that the game throws at you. Listios, it's similar to movies. You don't want your movie to be too slow or being 100% just action scenes. You need to find the sweet spot depending on what you want to convey to viewers. Absolutely. We talk about that all the time. And most of what I'm getting with these dramatic tension cycles is from a film analysis course I took in college that was just life-changing for me. So that's kind of my perspective. If we had a real game designer here who has been doing this professionally for many, many years, they would probably talk about it in a very different way. And they may hardly disagree with me. But this is how I kind of conceptualize it. A lot of challenge versus rewards balancing. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And that also, the reward, to your point, impacts the height of the tension. If there's not a lot of reward in a point of high danger, that's going to create a very different feeling than high reward, high danger, right? Low reward, high danger, you're in a horror game, right? Where you're just trying to stay alive. High reward, high danger is now something like this, where you have all of these things that are swarming and you're trying to figure it out, but you're excited. You're really thrilled at, like, ooh, look at all that experience, right? Very different feels, different vibes. And that's where we talk about having, like, GDDs and writing about what emotional experience you want your players to have. That's why that's important. Because now you can say, you know, why are people not getting scared when our big monster comes through? It's because you have a big reward for killing the monster. And so that's all anyone's thinking about. They're not thinking about how scary it is. They're thinking about the reward they get. Or why aren't people feeling satisfied and excited in our really high action game? Because you're making it too hard with no reward. Now it's, you know, shifting almost into puzzle sort of territory. Level of rewards matter as much. Yeah, 100%. So these are all different levers that we can pull to create an emotional experience for the player. And I don't care what game you're making. You are making it an emotional experience for players. I don't care if you're doing a straight-up logic puzzle. The emotion that you are building is feeling logical. It's all emotional. You cannot get away from it. We are emotional creatures. Sometimes surviving long enough to get to future reward is a reward in itself. It could be. It could be. Okay, we have ads starting in just a minute. We're going to jump into ads, and then we'll wrap up this run, and we'll call that for the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out here today. This has been such a joy to do all of these analyses with you. I hope you are having a good time. I'm certainly learning a lot. I hope you are as well. We will be right back. Okay, welcome back. All right. Let's dive back in. Let's finish up this run here. Narvin, you don't see it? Darn it. Meet Jack in here. Jack knows all the stuff. Whoa, the Necromancer. Okay, we got to get in on this guy. He's a spellcaster. He's going to be diving around on us and dive through the projectiles. Good. Okay. No, okay, dodge, good. Ah, interesting to note, like, you notice all the projectiles that they're using, they're all the same sprite. They're not varying that up. all the projectiles have the same sprite, whether they're bosses or
I
enemies.
am a meddling god.
Okay, let's level up Chain Lightning. That sounds good. So I think that's good for a lot of reasons, actually. Once again, in a game like this, where they throw so much at you, visual clarity is king. You don't want to have to be trying to figure out, while 30 projectiles are heading towards you, is this a bad effect or a good effect? And by keeping all of the effects consistent, that allows them to really easily tell you what is dangerous and what isn't. Not to mention, it cuts down on scope really heavily. Now whenever they want to bring in a new projectile enemy, they don't have to come up with a new projectile texture,
We
sprite,
understand that
animation,
mortals need time to
sound
learn.
effect.
This we can offer.
Yeah, more vacuum. More vacuum. And we're picking up loot, by the way, which you will eventually equip your gear. We've got a ton of stuff on my character. My characters are pretty much all maxed out across different builds. Another little, like, meta progression type sort of aspect for the game. Alright, so that was the Necromancer. So I think the next boss is the end boss. Ooh, we just took a lot of damage there. But we have kind of that defensive justice goddess, so that's helping us out a lot. Let's rarity increase our smiting. So not only does rarity increase make the effects immediately stronger, but it makes them scale a lot better as well. So it's like it's a big get to do that. Man, taking lots of damage. These ghosts are really getting in on us. Okay. I don't really want any of these. I'm going to swap to a different god. Okay. Oh, rarity increase Merciful Strike, but we're not really going for attack builds. Let's level up Reprisal. Because if we can get that up to like an even higher percent, like if there's a 50% chance when something attacks me, it takes damage and gets stunned, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Ouch. Got an evasion in there. Ah, come on. I can't dive into the Soda Knights. It'd be embarrassing. Can you imagine going to the afterlife and be like, what got you? Can of soda. Everyone starts laughing. No, you don't understand. It was really heavy. No. Okay. Let's banish some stuff. I don't really want any of these. So we're going to banish all of them. I mean, they're all cool, just like they're not really contributing to what is making this build fun and work. Yeah, we really need some damage upgrades for sure. Alright, let's get upgraded Merciful Strike, our auto attack. We're not leaning into auto attack very much, but it is still happening. That will be increased damage, that will be helpful. Okay, there we go. Clear them all out. That felt very nice. You'll notice, I don't think they ever have more than 3 enemy types on the board at any given point. Once again, I think that's really on purpose, so you can remember how do these things attack, and so you can prepare for them. Listios.
You should try a different approach this time. But hey, it's your own fate.
Alright. Attack hits a wider area. Ooh, dash has become way longer. We're doing a lot of dash attacks. Ooh, that was a big hit. Come on, come on, come on. Here we go, here we go. We've got health bars on every individual, so it feels very satisfying. Satisfying, put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable there. Very satisfying when you get your effects popping off and you're seeing that. Once again, we saw that on Nekdoses. Think of that white intermediary state, and having that pause until the bar goes down feels very good. Very impactful. That's what this game really thrives off of. If I had to say what is the emotional experience this game offers, It's scale. It is impact. It is breadth. It's dopamine in that sense. Let's level up our dash. We've been leveling up our dash a lot. Let's level up the dash attack. Whereas, it's kind of endemic to the bullet heaven genre. You want scale. You want to feel empowered. And I emphasize feel because you may not actually be empowered, but you can feel empowered, and that's an important difference to note. Okay, we've been playing around with these guys a lot. I want to start trying to find some more map objectives. Tree of Wisdom. What does this do? I don't remember. Oh, it's an event. Opens its eyes as you get closer. Trees should not be opening their eyes. Starts to speak slowly, very slowly. Lose pull area, but gain 50% more experience. Rad. Can't get your master or legendary boons, but everything that's offered now is purple rarity expert. That's crazy. I'm gonna go pride. We've got a lot of pull area. I'd gladly take a 50% experience boost. Youch.
The god of lightning acts on impulse, much like summer. Their actions often lead back to death.
Also, an important thing to note, you notice we're getting a lot of the same recurring gods. There are a lot of other gods we have not seen this run. They limit the amount that can actually come, and so it focuses your build in, instead of being too much chaos, too much of a grab bag. That's very smart. Oh, gall. A 60% experience. Let's just kill some dudes. My goodness. Farm up. Ooh, get the archers. Okay. Plus 8% heal. So, we've got something big coming in. We're at 19 minutes. I think we're getting close to the boss coming in. Let's laugh about this when you... Wow, look at all that. What were we saying earlier about, it's okay to have stuff start to go off screen? So long as you have moments where that changes. This has changed. We are no longer killing things off screen. Holy cow. All right, we have an extra dash now with that shrine. Let's just blast through. Oh, those big zaps, those damage numbers. It's just feels so good. Oh my goodness. We do not have as much damage as we need, though. I'll tell you that much. We are super tanky, but we are not doing enough damage.
Rests upon you.
Mothman, yeah, for real. Spell durations increased? Is that the only one I have available from him? It is. What happens if I banish everything? That would have been a good one for us to get, but I'm kind of curious what happens. Do we get any more boons offered from him, or is he going to be out now? All right, 57, 58, 59, 20. There we go. Dracula. Whoa! Let's knock this guy down. You can see how much health this dude has. And this is the first time we're seeing a different projectile effect. So he's using a lot of the same patterns that we've seen in previous boss fights between the dash and the projectiles, but we are getting some different particle effects. Which, oh geez, that guy especially, that's important that one feels different. Because it's a homing projectile. It operates differently from the other projectiles we've seen, so we want it to be instantly visually different. Robotech, hello, welcome in, good to see ya. Okay, man, we are so tanky. Is he slowing me? Just take damage, bro, come on. Man, you hearing all of those, oh, that's all the times that we're stunning someone because they're trying to attack us. Curious what happens. What happens if I just stand still? Because we've been so tanky. Is our regen that strong that we can just tank it? No. Yeah, that was a big hit. Especially that homing projectile, that was rough. Oh, jeez. All right. Okay, dodge through those. Dodge through the homer. Oh, no. Okay, we've already regened our health back up all the way to full. That's because of the favor that we picked at the very beginning. So, really strong. Yeah, that hurt a bunch. We lost like over half of our health on that. Okay, I think we've got this. I think we're going to win, but it's just going to be a matter of patience. Think you're funny, Dracula? Think you're funny? You know what's funny? Lightning. You know what's also funny? Claymores to the face. That's pretty funny. So once again, different sound effects so it doesn't get repetitive and boring sounding. It's very important. We have, if you've been paying attention, you'll have noticed the pitch modulation on all the sound effects. Very good. Woo. Okay, come on. There we go. And now we have our really cool equipment we get for beating a run. Woo, there we go. That is Death Must Die. That's one run of Death Must Die. We get a little denouement, 10 seconds to go pick stuff up and get everything squared away before it kicks you out. So there's not like a portal you can run to, so they're preventing you from running around the map and exploring everything. They get you back. Very good screen here on your analytics for the run. You get to see all of the boons that you picked, which is nice. And then you also get to see the damage breakdown, which I wish more games did, and especially in things like this where you're supposed to be optimizing on a build. Give me feedback on how the build actually is performing. I'd like to have something like this in the run itself, so I can know, is leveling up ball lightning really doing anything for me, or should I be focusing on lightning orbs? Maybe that's doing way more. I don't know. It's hard to figure that out. Spreadsheet warrior for the win. Yeah, and that's the danger, right? Is it does become spreadsheet warrior. You need a way to represent it visually that abstracts the information a little bit. But in any case, we have best streak, so it's about, this is where social impact goes up, as well as accomplishment, right? I have won 6 runs in a row. I feel great. I bet my friends haven't beaten 6 runs in a row. Let me go show it off. I don't see a problem with that. Don't see a problem with what, Narvin? Enemies defeated reinforces that feeling of scale. This is all just really boosting in that feeling of accomplishment. Enemies defeated, best streak. All of that is like, ooh, look how good this feels. Ooh. Also putting current next to best is very clever. They didn't have to show best. They don't have to do current either. But like a lot of games do current, but not best. And that current taunts you by saying, you're only at this. Your best was this. Can you do it? Spreadsheet warriors. Okay, got it. So there you go. That's Death Must Die. Lots of very, very good design. Incredible amounts of polish. Once again, I can dash freely here. Everything's good. Lots of good life that's breathed into this world with the idle animations of various things all over the place. When your characters can talk to each other with like important and unique dialogue, a little spark shows up next to their head. I'm not seeing that for anyone over here. We have little trophies around, all around the place that your character can interact with and bring a little bit more story into, like bringing the trophy back for your little brother. Oh, I love Scotty. Goodness. And then we've got like our inventory management, meta, progress type sort of a thing. So, I think that's all I'm going to say about Death Must Die today. There's a lot. There's a lot that's really well made in here. And I'm excited to see how the patch goes. I need to figure out how to like phrase all of this into a YouTube video people would actually want to watch. And where I met Kront, that delightful orc berserker. This is kind of your intro area where you meet all the characters and gaze. Heroic landscape. When all this is over, I'll paint a picture. Painting. How many warriors in games talk about their hobbies? Like painting. I'm telling you, this is good writing. Mountains are a welcome sight. There you go. One day I'll take the route back when I've finished my journey. Good word choice there. When I've finished my journey, not about beating death. She doesn't really care about beating death. She cares about earning glory for herself, about feeling validated by her clan. Finished my journey, right? I remember the Christmas event there. That's when I started playing. It's very weird not seeing snowmen and Santas and everything everywhere. Santa used to be a character that was hanging out in here. So, that's Death Must Die. Thank you everyone so much for hanging out. This has been such a joy. I have loved hanging out with you all and doing these analyses of Nekdos's clicker, as well as Death Must Die. I learned a bunch. I hope you have as well. We're going to raid out. We're going to go raid a good friend of the program. Let's see. Who should we raid into today? We're going to go to Buggus. They're doing their final crunch day on their Ludum Dare competition. Tobuggus was one of the huge inspirations for the Fox Hollow Jam, and they were a huge support. So we're going to go hang out, support them, say hi, and with that, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you all tomorrow. If this has been helpful for you, remember we are a charitable enterprise devoted to helping people enter the game industry. So if that sounds like your jam, like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is, on whatever platform you're on, and hopefully we'll be hanging out a lot together in the future. Good to see you, COD Zombie, and with that, we'll see you next time.